touching on the Martinelli injury in a bit more depth, he's not as serious as Havertz, but still out for a few weeks. I think it was that 22-23 season where he really had that breakthrough, scored 15 goals in the Premier League. Since then he's just not hit the same heights. And I was looking at his injury history this morning actually, and he's not really, he had that knee injury several years ago, but since then he's not really had a big injury like this. I think his longest time out was a few weeks sort of this time last year. So could there be a silver lining to this? Does he need a break? Could he come back stronger from this?
Hopefully, I mean, you look at that, Saka and Martinelli could well be coming back at about the same time, and they will be refreshed and ready to go. And so, if Arsenal can stay within touching distance by the time those two come back, they will look a lot stronger. And also, Martinelli could give you an option as a central striker as well. So it is about staying in touching distance, I think, until those two return. I think Martinelli has been a bit of a victim of that left-hand side for Arsenal. You go back to 2022, 23, it was so when it was Xhaka, it was Zinchenko, it was Martinelli, you knew what that left-hand side was going to be. I also think Arsenal were a bit more of a counter-attacking team that season than they are now because I think teams play against them completely differently now than they did a couple of years ago, and that played into Martinelli's strengths as well. And it's very hard now because he doesn't have that space to really utilise his pace and running in behind. And he has struggled a bit. I do think he gets a bit of unfair criticism at times, Martinelli as well, to be honest. But he's struggled to replicate 22, 23. Maybe this rest will do him good. But again, you just hope that when those two come back, it's not all over by that point. Which, there's some difficult games to go. Like I said, Chelsea's coming up. That's going to be tough. You've got United away coming up, Nottingham Forest away, which, it's a top battle for second and third at the moment, that game. And they are going to be very, very up for it that night at the City Ground. So some really difficult games coming up that they're not going to be available in. So for Arsenal, you just got to try and stay in touching distance before you can get those two back. And then when you do, your options are going to be a lot stronger and things are going to look a little bit better.
Yeah, and I briefly touched on the free agent talk, which led to a shake of the head from you. Reports have said that Arsenal aren't considering that; they're looking for internal solutions. But there are not really high profile options, but there are a couple of standout free agents: Diego Costa, Arsenal's old nemesis, Ryan Kent, formerly of Rangers, Wissam Ben Yedder, although he might be going to Italy. So, do any free agents appeal to you, or not at all?
I, I mean, Diego Costa, can you imagine? No, I don't think so. I'd be stunned if that is a route that Arsenal go down. They resisted the urge to bring in, you know, top quality, fit and ready players in the loan market in January. So I'd just be stunned if they then went for players who are, out of shape, not played for a fair while, very aged, in the free agent market now. I'd just be really, really surprised by it. If there was a real standout option, then maybe so. But some of those names that you just mentioned, I just don't think so. I don't think any of them are going to be fit. We saw Diego Costa come back and have a bit of a swan song in the Premier League with Wolves, and that didn't go too well, did it? And he's older and has played less football since then. So I'd be very, very surprised.